health and a little wealth and a lot of love.
How did that feel for you? Did you feel like medicine, you went all this training, 11 years of training. Did that feel like it was fulfilling to you? Any moments of where you just felt, man, I really don't want to do this anymore, or just self-doubt? Or like,
Yeah.
what was your opportunity cost?
Yeah, I think that was the aha moment, because when you're going through medical school or when you're going through residency, there are times where you're working more hours. I mean, there were weeks of nights where I worked more than 80 hours, and working nights can be really hard on the body. And so you think doing outpatient primary care, you're working more of a 8 to 5, 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. You don't have to work weekends or holidays. You're going to have the best life. Like that sounds real cush. It sounds nice.
Newsflash.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
And then you get into it, and it's like you're just spinning your wheels, because there's really no downtime during the day. At least sometimes when you're in the hospital, you're around on your patients in the morning, you have some downtime. You see your colleagues in the hallway, and there's some camaraderie when you're in the office, and you're just in and out of patient rooms all day. And there's also this anxiety that comes with that of not wanting your patients to feel like you've forgotten about them, and wanting to be on time, and wanting to spend time in the room with patients, but only having an allotted 15 minutes to address certain things. And it's just, you feel like you're not doing what you wanted to do. It just didn't feel like the medicine that I wanted to practice. And you think, I went through residency and medical school, and this is what my life is going to be like.
Wow.
I thought this was going to be better. And it just...
So tell me more about your depression. Like, what did that do to your psyche? And you spent 11 years, and as a woman, like, I will be honest, that's probably hard. It's hard on your body. Most female physicians probably don't have kids until later. And so you sacrificed a lot to give back and to help people. You got in medicine for the right reasons. So tell me about the darkest time of your depression and what was going through your head at that time. And just tell the listeners about that.
We think about the opportunity costs, and we've talked about this a lot, just,
We have.
For fertility in general. I mean, my mom went through early menopause at 35, and we've always, we wanted a family, we wanted kids.
Right.
And you never think when you're younger that, or at least I didn't think whenever I was younger, that I was going to wait until my mid-30s to start having kids. I thought I'd have like a whole brood by now. And
Oh, geez.
and you just find yourself putting it off and putting it off. I have so much respect for some of my peers who had kids during medical school and residency, because I just don't know how they did it. I mean, I could barely take care of myself and take care of each other with all the stress that we both dealt with work. And so we just kept putting it off. And
we've only been married for 2 years.
Well, yeah.
I can hear your ovaries clicking from here. And by the way, guys, as a side story, if you are listening to this, we are going to give you guys updates. But we are currently going through IVF.
We are.
And just having some insurance, and to make my wife happy, we're going through that. Let's just take a minute to talk about it. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Just like, it's not me, it's you. So you want to tell the listeners like how that process has been and where we are in the process right now?
It's not something that I ever really thought I would do, honestly. Wanting to be as natural as possible, and
that means bumping uglies.
but not there to a certain degree. It almost feels like playing God a little bit, and I feel like I've always kind of been uncomfortable with that. But I also, I'm a doctor, and I'm a huge proponent of using the advances in medicine.
I'm about to say, like, my thing is like, we won't get into today, but when you say playing God, isn't like everyday medicine or surgery or chemo or whatever it is, isn't that playing God technically?
Or it's it's intervening. I I don't know. I guess you just feel a little bit weird about, and not everybody feels this way, but I guess I just felt a little bit weird about IVF in general initially until I learned a little bit more about it, and obviously got older and wanted to be able to have kids, and I had had some testing done and realized that my numbers weren't as great as I hoped they would be, and so that was the catalyst. But it was a process, I think, for both of us.
That's right.
Being hopped up on hormones is not fun for either
It's
one
not
of
fun
us.
for me, I'll tell you that. But at the end of the day, like, I just want to see you happy, and I want you to be fulfilled. I think being a mom is something that you've always wanted, and I want to give that to you. And speaking on this topic, where have all the doctors gone? I think some of the distractions that we've had in our relationship, just to be honest, you quit your job and you're chained. You're chained to something that is so significant. Emily has $250,000 of student loans, $250,000. And yes, people listening like, oh, that was her choice. Yeah, it was her choice, but her choice was to help people. It was not her choice to get into medicine, to be in the situation that she's in, and to compromise the quality of care that she can provide for her patients. So how does that feel? I know we're talking about going back to depression, but just those moments of just sitting there, because there were some really rough times in our relationship. Like, we don't say the D word in our relationship. A lot of therapy has asked us not to say that. But honestly, we don't say the D word, but it was headed there. It was a lot. And so, to tell the listeners about, the profession and, like how doctors feel and suicide rates and all that. Like, it's all relevant, I think.
Yeah, I know it's bad in primary care, but I think it's in every specialty right now. I think everybody's really dealing with it, and the most recent data has shown, I think it's 300 to 400 physicians a year die by suicide.
Oh my gosh.
And the most astonishing information that I learned was more with female physicians. So female physicians compared to their, age-matched counterparts in other professions, they have a 250 to 400% increase in suicide rate. And it's a real problem. I think that we're not really seeing any improvement right now. If anything, the shortages are getting worse.
Right.
And
I feel like it's like a prison almost, because you have all this, you put your life on hold. Like, so check this out. You put your life on hold. You have $250,000 of student loan debt. You think things are going to get easier. They're getting harder. You do administrative work. I'm summarizing what you said, and let me know if I'm completely wrong. But you work, you don't have lunches most of the time. You don't have breaks most of the time. You have a message inbox, and all the things. You want to provide the best quality care to your patients, and that gets in the way because everything else is you're juggling. You're constantly juggling act. I remember, like, we sleep in the same bed, sleeping next to you, and your phone's going off at 4:00 in the morning, and so it's just hard when you have all these things, and then you have this $250,000. And I'll be honest, it's $35 a day to carry these loans.
the interest, yeah.
Yeah, and so, do you regret becoming a doctor? I mean, these are a lot of things that are real issues.
I don't think I regret it. There were certainly times where I thought about it, and I wondered if I'd taken a different path, if maybe it would have been better for me. But I think this has been a big learning opportunity, and
Yeah, that's fair.
and just because I had 3+ years of primary care out of residency that
Right.
gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of great people and form friendships and find mentors, and it's just shown me what my passions are. And I'm still passionate about health and patient care, and I love to help people improve their metabolic health and help people lose weight and help people come off of medications. I'm
Right.
a huge proponent of functional medicine. I think there's definitely a place for functional medicine and traditional medicine to
With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love. That's the life that we live. Suits and scrubs.